Brothers and lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal, according to 90 Min, have given Thomas Partey permission to talk to Saudi Arabia in order to join the Saudi Arabian Pro League this summer. Arsenal are even considering loaning him out if he doesn't get a permanent solution this summer. Gonna be diving into that, but also William Saliba will be wearing shirt number 2. Now his holiday, I understand, ends tomorrow. He will be back at Arsenal signing his deal, and he will be given shirt number 2 next season. And Fabio Vieira will be out for 2 weeks. That has been confirmed by the Arsenal website as well. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Let's get this video to, it's a sad one because Thomas Partey is going to leave, so we could get it to just maybe 400 because I don't really understand what's going on at Arsenal. But let's hit the like button. Let's get this video to 500 likes. I want your thoughts, I want your opinions. Partey to Saudi Arabia, there is good money in there. We are talking about in excess of 50 million euros for Arsenal to invest, but we are also talking about losing one of our best players in a summer where we actually need to keep some of our best players, if not all of our best players as well. Right, so the 90 Min through Graham Bailey, again, have actually written a very interesting story on Thomas Partey and the situation around his transfer. And they've said Arsenal have given Thomas Partey permission to explore a transfer to the Saudi Arabian League. 90 Min understands. Arsenal are also hopeful, potentially, of even turning a profit by selling Partey for in excess of the 45 million pounds they paid in 2020 to sign him. That is the short story, and that is the short version. But the full version of the story, as written by Graham Bailey on the 90 Min website, says that Arsenal have given Thomas Partey permission to explore a transfer to Saudi Arabia. 90 Min understands. Saudi Arabia is pumping in money into its league, which has already seen Cristiano Ronaldo and Karim Benzema take their careers there this year. There is also interest in Lionel Messi, while a host of other players, including Hakim Ziyech, Khalid Koulibaly, and Ruben Neves, are also edging towards that, towards moves for Saudi Arabia. Partey joined Arsenal in a 45 million pound transfer from Atletico Madrid in 2020 and featured in 33 of 38 Premier League games in this past season as the Gunners mounted a first title challenge in 15 years. But Arsenal are already seeking to evolve a promising young squad and are open to letting the 30-year-old Partey go, despite returning to the Champions League and just 3 years after making him the 4th most expensive player in their history. That is according to 90 Min. And they're also saying that 90 Min understands that the appeal for Partey heading to Saudi Arabia on a permanent transfer rather than staying in Europe on loan is that he frees up an immediate space on the wage bill. The Gunners are also hopeful of potentially even turning a profit by selling Partey for in excess of the 45 million they paid for in 2020. Partey may not be the only midfielder leaving, including also Granit Xhaka is heading out of the team, as highlighted by most of the other transfer blogs. Now, it's a huge story. It's not new. We've talked about Partey, I think, yesterday. Today as well, did we talk about Thomas Partey? It's not a new story, but the extent to which we are willing to lose Thomas Partey is the one that actually makes news in this one. One, we have given him permission to talk to Saudi Arabia so that he can join the Saudi Arabian Pro League, and we get in all the excess money, even before understanding who is going to be our primary target for replacement. We wanted Moises Caicedo in January. We pulled out of the Moises Caicedo deal because we cannot pay, so we do not have a clear plan this summer. Apparently, that is not Arsenal that I know in the last 3 years. That is not the Arsenal I've been sold to by Edu and Mikel Arteta. At least what I know is we always have a clear plan. At times it fails, at times it doesn't work, but there is always a clear transfer plan. In this one, it doesn't seem like we have a clear transfer plan. But before we get into the plan, one, Partey to Saudi Arabia. That is a very, very good move because one, we won't play any other team in the Premier League or Champions League with Thomas Partey in it. That would actually give me a lot of hope. But two, if Arsenal are looking for in excess of 50 million, if you're going to be asking for around 60 million euros, that might be a very, very good deal. because it's 30 and there's so many other players we can go for. There's so many other players we can sign, players who are reliable, players that are durable, and players that are consistent at a very, very young age. So I'm thinking if we had 70 million in January and we wanted to sign Moises Caicedo and that was turned down, and Brighton are now saying it should be around 80, 85, in my own thinking, what we should do, get the 70 million that we had in January. Hopefully, we still have the money. And then, sell Thomas Partey for in excess of 45, in excess of 50. I don't even care. And then go back to Brighton and sign Moises Caicedo. That is a good replacement. We are talking about, a player that is a generational talent. I think Moises Caicedo will be the new N'Golo Conte on the scene of football and in the industry of defensive midfielders. He's such a very, very good player. But if we want to sell Thomas Partey at the moment, we have given him, we've given him the permission to talk to Saudi Arabia. So I should be thinking, because the story has come out a little bit of a while ago, Thomas Partey should be in dialogue with Saudi Arabia right now, talking to clubs and maybe agreeing personal terms. They've not failed on a single player. I think the only player that has decided to stay in Europe has been Romelu Lukaku. Such a bad decision. The rest of the players they've targeted, the rest of the players they've looked at and, had conversations with and a dialogue with, have actually ended up in Saudi Arabia. Benzema, Conte, Cristiano Ronaldo, Hakim Ziyech will end up there, Riyad Mahrez as well, and a couple of other players. So for me, the extent to which we want to which Partey is expendable is something I really do not understand. Played 33 games last campaign, missed 8, right? And I think if we had a backup, Partey could have played far more less games and more effective as well. But anyway, this is also something that I don't understand. They are willing to sell him so that we create a free space on the wage bill rather than loaning him out in Europe. Is it that bad? Is it really that bad? I mean, still, the story doesn't make any sense, because if we're going to loan him out, it means that we would ask the parent club, we would ask the club coming in to cover his wages, maybe half, maybe maybe three quarters or 3/3 of his wages, depends on the agreement. But is it that bad? Has it come to an extent where we say Xhaka has to stay? If he goes, we must find a replacement, but Partey can go out on loan somewhere, or we can let him go, whether we have a replacement or not. It really does not make any sense. Throughout the last campaign, I still remember Partey was the better player in that midfield as compared to Granit Xhaka. Apart from Martin Odegaard, who was terminally better, I don't see any other player in midfield that gave us better performances than Thomas Partey. If I was to vote, the best midfielders at Arsenal last season, Odegaard, Partey, Xhaka, and maybe Jorginho. That is the list. That is the end of it. But Arsenal are willing to let him go on loan. Arsenal will let him go on loan to a European club to free up the wage bill. So let me understand this. And I'm trying to make sense of it while I record the video, right? We want to sign Deckers. We want to sign Havertz. We want to sign whoever, Romeo Lavia. Deckers is gonna come on a 300 grand a week contract. Kai Havertz around 270,000 a week. Do Arsenal have all the money to pay those players without moving on some players? Probably not. But there's a lot of deadwood that Edu is not even doing work upon, and those players should be leaving. Nicola Pepe's wages should be freed up. Rob Holding's wages should be freed up. Cedric Soares' wages should be freed up. In my opinion, this is a little bit harsh, but if you want to move on players because you want to free up the wage bill and these players are not bringing in enough quality and consistency, Emil Smith-Rowe should be one of them. Now, I like him a lot, and of course you guys know on this channel, I really, really do like Emil Smith-Rowe. But if we are freeing up players for the wage bill, Emil Smith-Rowe has barely played any football last campaign, right? So there is no benefit of the doubt we can give him. He's been redundant. He's been earning money for nothing. And so you move him on, okay? You're definitely moving on. There's so many players in this Arsenal side that we can move on and keep Thomas Partey. But Arsenal want to free up some wages directly on the wage bill, and Thomas Partey is seen as a lucrative deal. The only thing I will understand here is if Arsenal replace replace Partey with Moises Caicedo. That is understandable. I will be over the moon. I will really understand the deal. It will really make a lot of sense. But apart from that, freeing up the wage bill, get Chichinho out. Chichinho is like 120,000 a week. Just get him out, okay? Get Chichinho out. That's 120,000. Cedric, I don't know, 60 or 50,000. Get him out. Pepe, 100,000 per week. Get him out. There is a lot of wages to be spared. Rob Holding is not even a fringe player. Rob Holding is an unused accessory. Just get him out. For me, the reasons that are being fronted for Thomas Partey to be leaving Arsenal, I don't understand. The one reason I'll listen to is if we want a high quality defensive midfielder, like maybe Sangare, maybe Caicedo, and Arsenal decide to sell Partey, raise fees for a younger, high quality midfielder. I will understand that. I would really, really understand that. But apart from that, it is still blubbering. We are still blubbering. We are in a mistake, and we are trying to make it right. It's a huge mistake. But anyway, he's in talks now with Saudi Arabia as we speak. The green light given by Arsenal. So if you hear me on one of my videos that Partey has signed for Saudi Arabia, do not be shocked. Fabrizio Romano did confirm this around 3 days ago that Thomas Partey leaving Arsenal, that is concrete. He will leave Arsenal if an important offer comes in. And what Arsenal consider important offers, around 40-50 million, right? Because for us, we've never been good sellers in the market. We're going to buy Kai Havertz for 60 million. They bought him at 72. He's had a very bad run of three seasons, and yet we're gonna sign him for 60 million. We bought Nicola Pepe for 72 million, and we might lose him for nothing, right? While Chelsea get 60 million for Kai Havertz. So Arsenal in selling in the market, we are always doing it wrongly. But anyway, this could be one of the steps, or one of the first steps to self-sustainability. There is talk of Arsenal trying to build a young squad. Our squad is never gonna be young forever, right? We will always have these players growing. I think Odegaard is 24 now. In the next year, it's going to be 26. So do we sell him because it's 26 and we need young players in the project? I definitely don't know, right? But at the moment, Thomas Partey, that is where we stand. Now, William Saliba is coming back at Arsenal. His holiday ends tomorrow. He will come back at Arsenal, sign a new deal, and it's also done and dusted. It is confirmed he will put on shirt number 2 next campaign. It is his favorite shirt number. He wanted it last campaign, did get it. I think he was putting on shirt number 12. Well, he will wear shirt number 2 after signing his new deal. I don't understand this thing with with centre backs running away from shirt 4 and shirt 5. I'm not saying shirt 4 and shirt 5 don't have suitors. I'm saying shirt 2 for a centre back just looks awkward. Like, I would want him to put on like shirt number 15 as a centre back, shirt number 25 as a centre back, shirt number 30. But shirt number 2, look, I don't have a problem. I really don't have problems with shirt numbers. But if he likes shirt number 2, and Arsenal can definitely give it to him, there's no problem with that. Now, Fabio Vieira, the Arsenal website has confirmed that Fabio Vieira is out of the UEFA Euro Championship under 21 for 2023. So he won't be playing at that championship. But the good news is that the injury picked up will be over within 2 weeks. So he's expected to come back in training within the next 2 weeks. Today is the 19th of June. So we expect him to be back around the 4th of July. And that will be before preseason. Listen, I've talked about this in my recent video. If Fabio Vieira wants to excel at Arsenal, the next season is not key, it is crucial. If he fails next season, we will have to sell him, loan him out, or even, his value is gonna drop. Right now, I think he's having that that Ryan Gravenberch season. You've come into a new team. Partey is flying, Xhaka is flying, Odegaard is flying. It's gonna take time for you to break through the team. And I'm not saying he should be that kind of guy that starts every game. I want him to be our Bernardo Silva. When you don't play Riyad Mahrez, you play Bernardo Silva. When you do not play Ike Gundogan, you play Bernardo Silva. If you do not play Kevin De Bruyne, you play Bernardo Silva. If you do not play Phil Foden, you play Bernardo Silva. If you don't play Jack Grealish, you play Bernardo Silva as well. I want him to be that player because he's got the ability to play each and everywhere and cause a maximum impact. But he's going to be back in the next 2 weeks. Early for preseason. It's going to be important. Now, one of the few reasons that people have been backing him to stay at Arsenal and giving him a benefit of the doubt is that look, he didn't have a good preseason last campaign. So this season he gets the preseason he wants or he deserves. We need to see him develop, and of course, there is also that competition with Emil Smith-Rowe. So he needs to be on his game, like really, really very much. But that is it. See you right in the next one.